feel more comfortable going into this game knowing that you're going to be taking these snaps, not like last week where it's like,
right? Yeah, I mean, I would say there's definitely a little bit different level of pressure, but at the same time, level of comfort because, like you said, you have all week to prepare. You know the situation that you're going to be thrust into. You know what's going to be asked of you. To where last week was kind of on the fly. But to your point, like every single week, you want to prepare like you're the starter. You want to know what's going on, be involved in the game plan. You want to play the game from the sideline when you're out there. So the mentality, and then from a study standpoint, really isn't changed. However, you understand when you're at practice and just all throughout the week that this team is depending on you to perform well on Saturday.
Can you walk us through the sequence when you see Tanner pointing to his hand, saying, "I can't throw it"? What's running through your mind about how to quickly snap in? Because that can't be easy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy by any means. I was kind of just it was just kind of a reaction deal. I mean, I actually didn't see. I saw him get hit. I didn't know that he was in that much pain, and I didn't know the circumstances. And so when he was saying I can't throw, I was, okay, here we go. So it was just kind of a reaction. I mean, there's not much you can do or say in those moments. You just got to try to go out there and execute the next play.
What were just your nerves like on Saturday? Because that was the real first big-time college experience.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, my nerves were going a little bit, but I think you just have to focus play to play and try to execute what's called and, try to find ways to put the team in position to score points and ultimately win the game. And, I know we didn't do that, but, that's always got to be the mentality no matter the situation, no matter who's in the game or whatever the case may be.
Every opponent's going to be a little bit different in terms of what you need to do. But what do you think you learned about the speed of the college game and what you have to be able to provide, given that was your first true game reps in terms of
Yeah, I mean, I just think from talking like situational, the negative plays, taking sacks, not being able to hold on to the ball, the turnovers really killed us. I mean, we were in position to win the game, or at least within striking distance for the entire 60 minutes, right until the very end. And so just learning kind of how those plays mean so much in the college game. And then obviously it is faster. I mean, decisions have to be quick trigger. The ball's got to come out. You don't have time to sit back there. Again, certainly not against Iowa, but not against any teams that you play in this conference.
Your teammates, your coaches, when they talk about you, the first thing that they talk about is your work ethic. Just where does that come from? I mean, was that always kind of part of your games, always study the hardest, that type of thing, or is that something you kind of learned with time?
I would say it's kind of just part of who I've always been. I take a lot of pride in being a smart player and knowing where to go with the ball. And my mind has always been my advantage on the field. I think I've said that before, but yeah, I mean that's kind of just my MO, and that's one thing that I'm extremely prideful about, and I take very seriously each week, whether I'm the starter, the backup, whatever the case may be.
I know this goes back to your high school days, but do you remember much from your last start when you were in high school?
Yeah, I mean, this was the last game, and we lost in the second round of the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously quite a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago, 2 years ago. So yeah.
What lessons can you take? Because you obviously were in a key part of that team, put up big numbers. What lessons do you take from high school that maybe you can help that since you played more in high school than college?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I was blessed to be around a lot of really good players and really good coaches, and I think we played at an extremely high level in Texas. And so, is it the college game? Absolutely not. But the principles of the game and making good decisions and managing the game and being a leader and all those things, those always apply at the next level. It's just on a bigger scale, and you have to do it at a higher level.
How comfortable are you with the chemistry that you've built with your wide receivers here going into your first career start?
I mean, I feel very confident, very comfortable with those guys. We have really good players. I mean, I can't wait to be out there with them, and that's something that we built, way before the season started. It all started when we got here in January, through spring ball, the summer. We worked all summer with those guys. So I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to go out there and play well on Saturday.
Is there any piece of advice that Tanner's given you heading into this week?
Yeah, I mean, he's right there every step of the way. Extremely helpful in my development, and Tanner and I have become pretty close friends through this deal, and so even before the injury, me and him would talk and bounce ideas off of each other, and he'd let me know what he sees, I'd let him know what I see, And so, nothing's really changing with that dynamic there. It's just kind of on the flip side now.
Go ahead.
This may be a tough answer because you didn't get your first bunch of reps until this past week, but there were a lot of expectations for this offense coming into this season. It seems like it's taken a little while. Are there any things in your meeting range of conversations that you feel like you can pinpoint as to why it hasn't clicked as consistently, or things you feel like you can provide to help this group get to that point, if that makes sense?
Not necessarily anything I can pinpoint, and I'm not going to put anything on one certain position group or anything like that. It's a collective team game every single time we go out there. If one guy's not doing their job, then that's going to hurt the outcome, and we've got to find a way to just put it all together. We've seen glimpses of it at times, but we have to go out there and find a way to play a complete football game, and that's the emphasis in every single room, and that's what we're going to try to do on Saturday.
When you were looking around the schools that running the transfer portal, what was it that appealed to you about Wisconsin? Was it familiarity with Phil? Was it wanting to be back in the air raid, or what was it that?
Well, yeah, the air raid's all I've ever known, so that was certainly one thing. Certainly familiarity with Coach Longo. Me and him have had a good relationship for a very long time, going back to my junior year in high school, and I was very close to going to North Carolina. And then, who wouldn't want to be at a university like this place? I know it's a long way from home, but to play in a premier conference and be at a premier school is certainly a high-level academic program here. And, there's no negatives to being here. So,
what was the impression that Phil made on you while recruiting you in high school?
I just really like that he was always super honest, and there's a lot of people out there that are gonna kind of bluff you on things and tell you what you want to hear, and he was very honest. He was very upfront, and we kind of just meshed from the get-go about talking football and things like that.
Is it a challenge not to put too much on yourself in this role? Like, I've got to make a big play here, I've got to do something because now I'm being asked to do more?
A little bit, but every play has its own life, and you just want to go out there and you want to do your job depending on what the play call is and what the defense does, and that's the mentality that I take every single day. And so I think, yes, there is pressure, and yes, I want to win, and yes,